Under the vast sky of Canaan, Joseph, vibrant with youth, watches over his father's flock. The endless fields of Canaan stretch before him, a canvas of boundless potential and untold stories. The sheep graze peacefully, their soft bleating echoing across the serene landscape as Joseph remains vigilant. The sun shines upon Joseph, highlighting the innocence in his eyes and the dreams brewing within his heart. A gentle breeze whispers through the fields, carrying the scent of wildflowers and the promise of destiny. Joseph smiles, the endless possibilities of the future reflected in his bright, hopeful eyes. Flickering lamplight dances within Jacob's tent, casting long shadows. Jacob, his eyes filled with love, presents Joseph with a magnificent coat. The coat's vibrant colors shine in stark contrast to the muted garments of his other sons. The brothers watch, their faces hardening with resentment. Envy begins to darken their expressions, casting a shadow over the tent. The air thickens with unspoken animosity, a storm brewing within the family. Under the vast, sun-drenched sky, Joseph stands tall amidst a golden field, surrounded by his brothers. His voice rings with youthful earnestness as he shares his dreams, visions of his brothers bowing in reverence. A palpable tension rises, their initial curiosity twisting into simmering resentment with each word. The seeds of betrayal are sown, nurtured by envy and pride under the watchful gaze of the sun. In this moment, the bond of brotherhood begins to fray, the golden field bearing witness to a future of discord. Under the scorching sun, the plains of Dothan bake, casting long, ominous shadows. Joseph's fate takes a dark turn as his brother's anger boils over, their expressions hardening with cold calculation. They seize Joseph, their grip firm and unforgiving. With a brutal shove, Joseph is hurled towards the pit. Joseph falls into the darkness of the pit, his fate sealed by betrayal. The brothers watch Joseph fall. Their faces are etched with a mix of anger and cold calculation. Under the relentless sun of Dothan, a caravan of Ishmaelites moves slowly, their figures mirages in the heat. The brothers, cloaked in shadow and deceit, finalize their cruel bargain. Joseph, helpless, is traded away, his future darkening with each grain of sand. The caravan departs. Joseph is dragged along, leaving behind a landscape marked by betrayal and loss. The Egyptian slave market pulsates with life, a cacophony of hawkers, nervous slaves, and the thick scent of sweat and sand. Amidst the chaos, Joseph stands forlorn, his eyes reflecting a deep despair. Potiphar, a high-ranking Egyptian official, approaches through the crowd. Potiphar stops in front of Joseph, his gaze intense. The transaction is completed, sealing Joseph's fate. In Potiphar's lavish home, Joseph navigates his duties with clear intent. His every move reflects unwavering diligence and honesty. Potiphar's complete trust in Joseph deepens with each passing day. He is elevated to chief steward, now in charge of the household. Flickering oil lamps cast eerie shadows, setting the stage for dark deceit in Potiphar's house. Potiphar's wife stands before Joseph, her face a mask of spite and calculated deception. Tears stream down her face, crocodile tears designed to conceal her wicked intentions. The shadows dance as her carefully constructed facade threatens to crumble, revealing the darkness beneath. The Egyptian prison looms, a desolate fortress where despair clings to the stone. Inside the prison, Joseph stands alone, a beacon of resilience amidst hardened criminals. The eyes of the prisoners reflect years of survival, glinting with a cold, predatory light. The air hangs heavy, thick with the stench of sweat and the palpable weight of abandonment. Shadows dance ominously across the damp stone walls, mirroring Joseph's own isolation. Joseph stands firm, his spirit unbroken, in the face of injustice and desolation. Weak sunlight struggles to penetrate the high, barred windows of the Egyptian prison, casting long shadows across the stone floor. Joseph sits, observing the royal cupbearer and the royal baker, their faces marked by deep worry. The royal cupbearer and the royal baker sit beside Joseph, their faces reflecting a sleepless night filled with dread. Joseph leans forward, his expression softening with compassion as he offers a glimmer of hope to the troubled men. "I can interpret your dreams. Perhaps there is still hope," Joseph says, his voice a soothing balm in the oppressive atmosphere. Sunlight penetrates the Egyptian prison, casting long shadows across the cold stone floor. In the heart of the prison, Joseph maintains serenity as he interprets the cupbearer's dream. The cupbearer, now filled with hope, expresses his profound gratitude to Joseph. Joseph appeals to the cupbearer with a heartfelt request. "When you are restored to your position, remember me," to Pharaoh. His voice filled with longing, Joseph begs, "Please get me out of this place." The weight of imprisonment hangs heavy in the air as Joseph awaits a glimmer of hope. In the dim confines of the Egyptian prison, Joseph stands, his face etched with solemn understanding. Before him, the baker listens, his features twisting with growing apprehension as Joseph unveils the dream's grim meaning. The weight of the revelation bears down, casting long shadows across their faces. The grim forecast hangs heavy in the air, sealing the baker's fate. Within the opulent throne room, Pharaoh sits, a tempest raging within his gaze. His hands clench into fists, jeweled rings cutting into his flesh, a symbol of suppressed fury. The palace air is thick with the unspoken, the weight of decisions left unmade crushing him. Shadows dance across the throne room, mirroring the turmoil in Pharaoh's heart. The very stones of the palace seem to groan under the pressure of his silent struggle. Pharaoh remains on his throne, wrestling with unanswered questions. In the opulent throne room of the Pharaoh's palace, sunlight bathes the scene as Pharaoh sits, lost in thought. A courtier, the cupbearer, steps forward, his face suddenly illuminated with a memory. "Your Majesty, I remember my faults this day," the cupbearer declares, breaking the silence. He recounts his time in the guard's prison, when Pharaoh was wroth with his servants, both me and the chief baker. "There was there with us a young man, an Hebrew, and he interpreted to us our dreams. To each man, according to his dream he did interpret." Pharaoh's interest is piqued. "A Hebrew who can interpret dreams? Bring this man to me." In the stark Egyptian prison, Joseph is summoned, his fate hanging in the balance. The cold steel of the razor glides across Joseph's head, stripping away his identity as a prisoner. His beard falls away, a symbol of his past life, now discarded. Clothed in simple robes, Joseph prepares to face the most powerful man in Egypt. He pauses, a deep breath fortifying his resolve. Today, Joseph steels himself to meet Pharaoh, his destiny about to unfold. In the majestic throne room, Joseph appears before Pharaoh, his presence a blend of reverence and submission. Amidst the opulent display of gold and towering pillars, he seeks divine guidance to unravel the dreams tormenting the ruler. The throne room's grandeur amplifies the weight of the dreams that plague Pharaoh's mind. Joseph's humble demeanor sharply contrasts with the extravagance surrounding him as he prepares to interpret the dreams. Sunlight pierces the throne room, illuminating the scene where power and prophecy converge. Pharaoh sits regally upon his ornate throne, his gaze fixed intently on Joseph, absorbing his every word. Joseph stands before Pharaoh, his expression earnest as he unveils the hidden meanings within the dreams. Pharaoh leans forward, his face a mask of concentration, as Joseph's wisdom fills the throne room. Joseph continues, his voice echoing with conviction, as he interprets the omens that could shape the kingdom's fate. Pharaoh nods slowly, the weight of Joseph's insight settling upon him, as he contemplates the future of his reign. Inside the opulent throne room, the Pharaoh's commanding gesture fills the vast space. The weight of his new title settles heavily on Joseph, his face a canvas of surprise and resolve. The grand gesture seals Joseph's fate, marking him as the appointed governor of Egypt. In the heart of the Pharaoh's throne room, Joseph's new path is forged in a moment of destiny. Years later, Joseph, now a figure of authority, casts his gaze over the vast Egyptian granaries, a testament to years of plenty. With calculated precision, Joseph directs the storage of grain, orchestrating a symphony of activity. Mountains of harvested wheat and barley fill the horizon, a visible promise of security against the famine to come. In every move, Joseph's strategic brilliance shines, preparing Egypt for the inevitable famine. The land lies cracked and desolate under an unforgiving sky as famine grips the surrounding nations. Emaciated figures emerge, their weary eyes fixed on the distant promise of Egypt. Hope flickers faintly in their determined gazes, a beacon in a world consumed by despair. Once fertile fields now lie barren, a haunting testament to the famine's merciless grip. Desperation hangs heavy in the air, etched on the faces of those seeking sustenance and salvation. Under the relentless Egyptian sun, a vast, unforgiving landscape stretches endlessly, its horizon blurred by heat and distance. Weary and travel-worn, Joseph's brothers trudge towards the border, their figures silhouetted against the harsh sunlight. Unaware of the impending confrontation, they approach the border, their faces etched with exhaustion and anticipation. Little do they know, they are about to face the brother they betrayed, their past actions about to catch up with them. The weight of their past deeds hangs heavy in the air as they unknowingly step closer to their reckoning. The stage is set for a dramatic reunion, a collision of past betrayals and uncertain futures. In the confines of his office, Joseph sits, an air of regal composure veiling the storm of emotions within. His gaze sweeps over his brothers, each face a familiar echo from a past he thought buried. Though recognition flares instantly, Joseph's face remains an inscrutable mask. A subtle shadow of sadness flickers in Joseph's eyes, a ghost of vulnerability betraying his guarded exterior. Curiosity dances within him, a silent question echoing through the chamber as he contemplates their intentions. The game begins. Joseph sets in motion a subtle test, probing the depths of his brother's character. In the opulent office, sunlight dances through the air, illuminating the stern figure of Joseph, adorned in regal Egyptian attire. His brothers stand before him, their faces a canvas of worry and confusion. Joseph's unwavering gaze sweeps over his brothers, piercing through their facade. His voice cuts through the silence. "You are spies. You have come to see the weakness of this land." He challenges their integrity, demanding proof of their honesty. "To prove your honesty, you must bring me Benjamin, your youngest brother. Only then will I believe you are not deceivers." Under a relentless sun, the brothers begin their sorrowful trek back to Canaan, each step heavy with unspoken remorse. Guilt etches deep lines into their faces, each brother a mirror reflecting the heavy burden of their shared secret. The landscape mirrors their inner desolation, the barren path stretching endlessly before them. The weight of their actions hangs heavy in the air, an invisible shackle binding them together in shame and apprehension. Dim sunlight barely penetrates Jacob's tent, casting long shadows as Jacob sits, his face a canvas of worry. The son's voices echo within the confines of the tent. "He was a powerful man, father. An Egyptian governor." The tension escalates as they reveal. "He accused us of being spies." The weight of their words intensifies. "He demanded to see Benjamin, to prove our words were true." Desperation grips Jacob. "Benjamin? No, I cannot lose him too. He is all I have left of Rachel." Under a relentless sky, the Canaan countryside lies parched and barren. Emaciated livestock struggle to graze on the meager remains. Jacob watches his sons, worry etching deep lines on his face. His sons pack provisions for a journey, their faces grim. The famine tightens its grip, casting a shadow over the land. Dust devils swirl across the desolate Egyptian border, a stark omen as the brothers approach. Benjamin walks among his brothers, his presence a fragile symbol of reconciliation amidst the barren landscape. Each step echoes with the weight of past betrayals and the uncertainty of what awaits them in Joseph's city. Anxiety tenses their shoulders as they move forward, hope their only compass in this desert of doubt. The border looms, a threshold between their tormented past and an uncertain future under Joseph's gaze. Joseph's heart pounds as he beholds Benjamin, his carefully constructed facade threatening to crumble. His breath hitches, a tempest of emotion brewing beneath his composed exterior. With a subtle gesture, he signals to his loyal servants, his composure hanging by a thread. His voice, strained with barely suppressed emotion, commands, "Prepare a feast in their honor." The servants bow their heads, moving swiftly to fulfill Joseph's urgent command. Joseph watches, his eyes never leaving Benjamin, the weight of unspoken years heavy in the air. Joseph's banquet hall glows with candlelight, casting eerie shadows across the faces of the brothers. The brothers exchange uneasy glances as simmering resentment fills the air. The lavish spread before them hints at Joseph's favor, fueling their silent questions. Unspoken words hang heavy in the air, each brother grappling with their own doubts. The candlelight flickers, mirroring the flickering emotions within the brothers. The feast continues, but the tension remains palpable among Joseph's brothers. In the dimly lit office, Joseph sits, a figure of authority amidst dancing shadows, contemplating a weighty decision. With a subtle gesture, Joseph commands his loyal steward, the air thick with unspoken intent. The steward nods, his understanding clear, as the weight of Joseph's command settles upon him. Joseph's voice cuts through the silence. "Hide my silver cup in Benjamin's sack. Ensure it is concealed well." The steward, ever dutiful, absorbs the gravity of the task, his loyalty unwavering. The office remains cloaked in shadow, the silver cup's fate sealed by Joseph's clandestine order. Under the awakening sun, the brothers make their way towards Canaan, shadows stretching long and distorted on the dusty path ahead. Unaware of the deception, they travel onward, carrying the weight of a secret they cannot fathom. In Benjamin's sack, the silver cup lies hidden, a silent harbinger of the turmoil to come. Each step brings them closer to an unforeseen destiny, as innocence unknowingly marches towards accusation. Dust rises on the road to Canaan as Joseph's steward rides furiously. His face is a mask of accusation as he overtakes the brothers. The brothers turn, surprise and apprehension etched on their faces. The steward reveals a grave accusation. The steward accuses them of a grave offense, stealing the silver cup. The brothers react with shock and indignation, their voices rising in protest. On the road to Canaan, the steward meticulously searches each brother's sack, the tension building with every passing moment. A hush descends over the brothers as the steward approaches Benjamin's sack, their anxiety palpable. The steward plunges his hand into Benjamin's sack, the silence amplifying the gravity of the moment. The glint of silver shatters the quiet as the cup emerges, and devastation etches itself onto the brothers' faces. The brothers enter Joseph's opulent office, their shame and despair palpable under the bright sunlight. Sunlight pierces through the window, casting long shadows that amplify their guilt and vulnerability. Joseph sits behind his imposing desk, his piercing gaze fixed upon his brothers. His voice cuts through the silence. "I know what you did." In the solemn confines of Joseph's office, Judah kneels, his voice trembling with raw emotion. He implores Joseph to spare Benjamin, offering himself as a slave in his brother's stead. "Please, my lord, let your servant speak a word in my lord's ears, and let not your anger burn against your servant, for you are like Pharaoh himself." Joseph watches Judah, his face an enigmatic mask, a flicker of pain briefly betraying his stoic facade. Judah's voice cracks with desperation. "For how can I go back to my father if the boy is not with me? I fear to see the evil that would find my father." In Joseph's office, the thick air vibrates with the weight of unspoken words, the silence about to shatter under the force of revelation. Joseph's face, a canvas of resolve and trepidation, hints at the storm about to break. The stillness shatters as Joseph breaks the heavy silence, his words poised to ignite a maelstrom of emotions. Shock ripples through the room as Joseph's brothers recoil, their eyes widening with the dawning horror of recognition. The room floods with shock, fear, and disbelief as Joseph's brothers stare at him. Sunlight bathes Joseph's office, illuminating the tense figures of his brothers. Joseph's calm voice fills the room, each word a balm to their guilty consciences. God used your evil intentions for good. The weight of their betrayal begins to lift, replaced by a fragile hope. A sense of reconciliation dawns, promising a future free from the shadows of the past. The sunlight seems to brighten, casting a golden glow upon their renewed brotherhood. Sunlight floods Joseph's luxurious office, illuminating tapestries and a polished desk, a testament to his power and influence. Joseph gestures, his face radiating brotherly affection, a promise of familial reunion and support. With open arms, Joseph proclaims, "Bring Jacob, our father, and all our families to Egypt." Joseph offers, "I will provide for you during this famine," a pledge of sustenance and security. His voice resonates with conviction. "My generosity knows no bounds when it comes to family." A declaration of unwavering loyalty. The opulent office is silent, filled with the weight of Joseph's heartfelt promise. Beneath the scorching sun, Jacob leads his family toward the ancient land of Egypt, their hearts swelling with anticipation. Each step carries the weight of generations, their faces etched with a mixture of hope and trepidation. In the distance, the majestic pyramids rise from the sands, silent witnesses to their journey. As they approach, the grandeur of Egypt washes over them, promising both sanctuary and the unknown. The golden sands stretch endlessly before them, a path toward a new destiny. With unwavering resolve, Jacob's family continues toward their new home, ready to embrace whatever awaits them. In Goshen, a meeting of destiny unfolds as Joseph and Jacob approach each other, their expressions a mix of anticipation and trepidation. Time seems to slow as Jacob's aged eyes lock on to Joseph, a flood of memories and unspoken words passing between them. Joseph's face softens with a wave of emotion as he gazes upon Jacob, his heart swelling with love and regret. In a moment of pure, unadulterated emotion, Jacob and Joseph embrace, their bodies trembling with the weight of their shared history. Tears stream down Jacob's face as he clutches Joseph tightly, the years of separation melting away in their reunion. Joseph's strong arms envelop Jacob, offering solace and protection as they stand together, reunited at last. Beneath the relentless Egyptian sun, Joseph guides his family to the promised land of Goshen, a sanctuary of abundance and security. With determination etched on their faces, Joseph's family begins to build their new lives. Children laugh and play, their joyous sounds echoing through the fields. Hope blossoms in Goshen as the family settles into their new home, ready to thrive. Years etched into his face, Jacob lies on a bed of furs, bathed in the golden light of dawn. Joseph kneels beside his father, Manasseh and Ephraim, standing in silent vigil. Jacob's frail hand rests gently on Joseph's. "God Almighty appeared to me at Luz in the land of Canaan and blessed me. He said to me, 'I am going to make you fruitful and will increase your numbers.' Now then, your 2 sons born to you in Egypt before I came to you here are mine." Jacob's voice trembles with emotion. With trembling hands, Jacob blesses the boys. "May he bless these boys." In the quiet of the tent, Jacob rests, his family gathered in silent vigil. The dim light paints their faces with sorrow, each a reflection of their shared grief. The end of Jacob's life marks the close of a significant chapter. Their sorrowful faces express the weight of their loss. The tent is filled with a heavy silence, broken only by the soft sounds of mourning. A solemn procession begins its journey, carrying Jacob toward his ancestral homeland. Each step echoes Jacob's final wish, to find rest among his fathers in Canaan. Faces etched with sorrow mark the path, honoring a life now passed into legend. The land watches as Jacob returns, completing a circle of life and legacy. In their hearts, a promise kept. Jacob journeys home. The land of Canaan stretches under the sun, embracing the ancient cave of Machpelah. Within the cave's silent depths, Jacob rests eternally among his ancestors. The spirits of Abraham and Sarah watch over their descendants in eternal embrace. Isaac and Rebekah guard the family's legacy in timeless vigil. In the heavy silence after Jacob's death, shadows loom, mirroring the brothers' fear. Each brother is trapped in memories, the weight of their actions, a suffocating presence. Their collective guilt fills the room, an invisible barrier between them and Joseph. They eye Joseph warily, haunted by the shadows of their past. The air hangs thick with unspoken dread, a palpable sense of foreboding. Joseph's gaze softens, his face reflecting a deep understanding and compassion for his brothers. A tender smile graces his lips, a beacon of forgiveness in the tense atmosphere. He reaches out, his hand gently finding the shoulder of his nearest brother, a gesture of reconciliation. With unwavering calm, Joseph speaks, his voice a soothing balm. "I forgive you." His eyes, wells of warmth and reassurance, I promise to continue to care for you and your families. In the vast Egyptian landscape, years have passed, leaving their mark on Joseph, whose hair now mirrors the color of the desert sand. Time has etched lines of wisdom onto his face, a testament to a long and prosperous life lived in Egypt. Around him, his family thrives, their laughter echoing through the fertile fields. He watches them, a profound sense of contentment washing over him. He witnesses the fruits of his labor and the flourishing of his kin. Sunlight filters through the window, illuminating the room where Joseph lies on his deathbed, surrounded by his grieving family. With a final, weak gesture, Joseph beckons his children closer, his love palpable in the air. His voice raspy, Joseph shares his last words. "My dear children, gather round. I haven't much time left." Joseph urges, "Remember the values we've shared. Kindness, honesty, and above all, love for one another." His voice fading, Joseph pleads, "Support each other, always. Life is a journey, and you'll face many challenges. But together, you can overcome anything." With a final, heartfelt plea, Joseph whispers, "Never forget your roots, where you came from, and the importance of family. Live your lives to the fullest, with passion and purpose, and always, always be true to yourselves." In the dimly lit room, Joseph lies frail upon his deathbed, his aged eyes reflecting a fervent light. Weak sunlight barely pierces the curtains, casting long shadows across the faces of his watching family. With trembling hand, Joseph makes a weak gesture, his voice a mere whisper. "Promise me, when God eventually leads you out of Egypt, you will carry my bones back to Canaan." In his final moments, Joseph rests peacefully, his face a testament to a life fully lived. His family gathers, their faces etched with sorrow and respect, a silent vigil of love. The room is filled with a heavy silence, the weight of their collective grief palpable. News of Joseph's passing will soon ripple through Egypt, casting a shadow of mourning across the land. Generations have passed, and the relentless Egyptian sun casts its gaze upon the vast landscape. The Israelites, once a small tribe, have multiplied and prospered, their settlements now dotting the land. But a shadow looms as a new pharaoh ascends the throne, his eyes betraying a flicker of unease. His gaze sweeps over the settlements, a silent acknowledgement of the Israelites' burgeoning strength. Under the relentless Egyptian sun, the landscape stretches endlessly, a silent witness to generations of suffering. Far off, figures bend under the scorching sun, their movements slow and heavy with exhaustion. Taskmasters patrol with cruel eyes, their whips cracking like thunder, a constant reminder of their power. Despair etches deep lines into the faces of the enslaved, their cries for help rising to the heavens. In the radiant Canaan countryside, young Joseph shepherds his father's flock, brimming with youthful vitality. His youthful energy radiates as he watches over the sheep, a silent guardian in the golden fields. Dreams ignite in his heart, mirroring the vast expanse of the open sky above. A gentle breeze whispers through the fields as he continues his watch, a peaceful shepherd in a tranquil land. The sheep graze quietly under his attentive watch, a picturesque scene of pastoral harmony. In the heart of Canaan, young Joseph's spirit soars, as boundless as the land he roams. Joseph's imposing figure fills his office, his gaze sweeping over his brothers with a blend of sorrow and profound understanding. The weight of years visibly lifts as Joseph unveils his true identity, his voice resonating with newfound peace and resolution. A tender smile graces Joseph's lips as he speaks of divine orchestration, offering forgiveness and revealing a greater plan amid past betrayals. I am Joseph, your brother, whom you sold into Egypt. But now, do not be distressed, and do not be angry with yourselves for selling me here, because it was to save lives that God sent me ahead of you. The brothers' faces, etched with disbelief, remorse, and a dawning sense of hope, capture the profound impact of Joseph's revelation. In a somber flashback, Joseph lies frail upon his deathbed, his family gathered around him, their faces etched with grief. With a voice weakened by illness, Joseph speaks, his words carrying the weight of his final wish. Promise me, Joseph pleads, his gaze sweeping across the faces of his loved ones. Swear an oath to me, he implores, his voice filled with a desperate urgency. When God eventually leads you out of Egypt, Joseph continues, his words laced with faith and hope. You will carry my bones back to Canaan, Joseph concludes, entrusting them with his legacy. Under the scorching sun, the Egyptian desert stretches endlessly, time having woven through generations. In the vast expanse, the promise of Joseph's prophecy lingers, heavy as the desert air. Amidst this timeless landscape, Moses is born, his destiny already entwined with the fate of the Israelites. The desert witnesses the dawn of a new era, as Moses' future unfolds under the watchful gaze of the sun. A single figure, small against the monumental backdrop, represents the hopes and burdens of a people. The Nile glistens under the dawn, its waters reflecting the rising sun. A lone woven basket appears, carrying a precious secret upon the tranquil waters. Baby Moses lies nestled within, a tiny beacon of hope against a kingdom's dark decree. Adrift, the basket symbolizes defiance and a mother's desperate love, challenging Pharaoh's cruel reign. Sunlight washes through the Pharaoh's palace, revealing its majestic decorations and colossal statues. Pharaoh's daughter gently cradles the baby, Moses, her face a portrait of maternal tenderness. Her gaze hardens with resolve as she makes a silent vow to raise him as her own. Unaware of his Hebrew heritage, she embraces her destiny, her eyes reflecting a mother's unwavering love. Under the relentless Egyptian sun, Moses surveys the sweeping, unforgiving desert landscape. His gaze falls upon the Israelite slaves, their bodies bent under the weight of their labor, their spirits crushed by the cruelty of Egyptian taskmasters. He witnesses their suffering, the raw injustice of their bondage searing into his soul. A fire ignites within Moses, fueled by the sight of such profound injustice. Upon the Red Sea, Moses raises his staff, summoning forth a wind of divine power. The waters yield, cleaved by an unseen force, revealing a path to salvation. Pharaoh's army descends, a relentless tide of chariots chasing shadows across the sands. The Israelites press forward, their desperate escape unfolding beneath the towering walls of the Red Sea. Under the relentless sun, the Sinai desert stretches into infinity, a landscape of stark beauty and desolation. High atop Mount Sinai, Moses stands resolute, a solitary figure against the heavens. The wind howls around Moses, as if the very elements acknowledge the divine moment. In a moment of profound revelation, Moses receives the 10 Commandments, etched in stone by the hand of God. The stone tablets gleam, bearing the weight of divine law, a testament to the covenant. This sacred exchange binds the Israelites to God, forging a destiny in the heart of the desert. At the border of Canaan, the Israelites gather, their numbers endless, their anticipation palpable. Joshua, marked by time yet unwavering, lifts his staff high above the throng. Generations of dreams converge in this singular moment, the promise of a covenant fulfilled. Hope and destiny intertwine as they stand poised to enter the land foretold. Under the relentless sun, Joshua stands tall, his voice resonating across the multitude of Israelites. The Israelites gather, their faces upturned towards Joshua, their expressions a mix of anticipation and reverence. The ancient city of Shechem looms in the background, an age-old sentinel witnessing the unfolding drama. Every word hangs in the air, charged with the weight of history and the promise of destiny. The sun beats down, the air thick with anticipation as the Israelites await Joshua's pronouncements. Beneath the open sky, exhausted Israelites converge at Joseph's tomb, their faces etched with fatigue from their arduous journey. With solemn reverence, they prepare to fulfill a sacred duty, lowering a sarcophagus containing Joseph's bones into the earth. Each movement is deliberate, a testament to generations of longing and devotion. Sorrow mingles with relief as the weight of history settles upon them, fulfilling Joseph's dying wish. The air is thick with unspoken prayers and shared memories, binding them together in a moment of profound unity. As the last rays of sunlight fade, Joseph's final wish is honored, his legacy forever etched in the heart of Israel. The camera reveals a modern-day Shechem, bathed in sunlight. A group gathers solemnly near Joseph's tomb. They stand in quiet contemplation, a link to the past. The ancient tomb stands as a silent witness to history. The group members reflect on the stories of old. The scene resonates with echoes of generations past. Sunlight pierces through the stained glass, casting a divine glow across the silent church. The pastor's voice echoes, resonating with the story of betrayal and faith. And so, Joseph, betrayed by his own brothers, he never lost faith. He speaks of forgiveness, of choosing light in darkness. He chose forgiveness. He chose to believe in a divine purpose. The pastor's voice rises with fervor, revealing the transformative power of faith. God turned his pain into power. He rose to become second in command of Egypt. He urges his congregation to embrace their own trials. Let us remember Joseph's story. Let us embrace forgiveness. The pastor concludes with a call to action. Trust in God's plan, and allow him to transform our suffering into strength. Alone in the shadowy living room, a woman is sitting amid unpacked boxes, a tableau of sorrow etched on her face. Clutching a phone, she watches a video detailing the biblical story of Joseph, his trials mirroring her own unspoken pain. Red-rimmed eyes begin to focus as Joseph's journey unfolds, resonating with her interrupted life. A glimmer of hope ignites within her, as she sees in Joseph's triumph a reflection of her own potential redemption. The sterile office reflects the man's despair, papers scattered like fallen hopes under the cold glare of the screen. A pink slip lurks beneath the documents, a stark symbol of his shattered dreams. He reaches for a worn Bible, its aged pages a testament to countless moments of solace. As he reads, the story of Joseph echoes through his mind. The story of Joseph, sold into slavery, imprisoned unjustly, yet through faith and perseverance, he rose to become a leader, a savior, a reminder that even in the darkest of times, there is a plan. A flicker of hope ignites in his eyes, a spark rekindled in the depths of his despair. Bathed in sunlight, a young woman sits in a park, her pencil dancing across the page as she sketches. In a bustling cafe, an elderly man finds solace in the pages of a book, oblivious to the lively chatter around him. Amidst the clang and clamor of a construction site, a worker pauses, a flicker of hope igniting their weary eyes. A child listens intently as their parent reads aloud, their imagination taking flight on the wings of the narrative. Each face reflects a spark of resilience, a testament to the indomitable spirit of Joseph's story. In their eyes, a shared narrative of hope and determination blooms, nurtured by the enduring spirit of Joseph. Sunlight streams through the stained glass, casting a divine glow as dust motes dance in the sacred space. The pastor stands at the pulpit, his face a map of kindness and hard-earned wisdom. His voice echoes through the church, resonating with the unwavering strength of his conviction. He urges, trust in God's plan, and believe that he can turn your pain into power. Sunlight floods the room, each mote of dust illuminated in a dance of light and shadow. In the heart of the sunlit room, the woman sits quietly in her armchair, a gentle smile softening the lines of time on her face. The tension etched on her face fades, replaced by a serene calm that speaks of inner peace. A soft whisper of forgiveness escapes her lips, a cathartic release into the tranquil air. As the whisper fades, the room seems to brighten, as if a weight has been lifted from its very foundations. The office air is thick with unspoken anxieties, the sterile environment amplifying the man's quiet despair. His phone rings, cutting through the silence like a beacon of hope. Listening intently, the weight on his face begins to lift, replaced by a glimmer of cautious optimism. A slow smile spreads across his face, as the man realizes God was working behind the scenes to position him for something greater. A young woman, tears blurring her vision, finds the strength to forgive, her face softening with a serene calm. In a circle of understanding, a war veteran shares his story, his voice trembling yet resolute, finding solace among kindred spirits. A homeless man, shivering in the harsh cold, receives warmth and kindness from a stranger, a flicker of hope igniting in his weary eyes. Torn apart by the ravages of addiction, a family reunites, their embrace a symphony of tears, joy, and relief. A doctor, once weary and disillusioned, witnesses a miraculous recovery, his purpose renewed, his spirit lifted by the healing power of faith. The camera sweeps away from Joseph's tomb, opening onto the tranquil beauty of the Promised Land. The serene landscape unfolds, revealing the lushness and promise of the land. Words appear on the screen, a powerful reminder. What you meant for evil, God meant for good. The text hangs in the air, a testament to redemption amidst the beauty of Shechem.